So after looking into more decks that you could play for this event, there's actually quite a decent selection of them. Even though you would think that the Theme Chronicle balance would be quite restrictive, and it is to a certain degree, but that doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of playable decks. Well, and while they might not be full power, because obviously there's going to be some cards, some extra deck cards, and some engines, sub-engines that might be hit for this event, for the most part, they're quite decent. They're quite playable. There's actually quite a selection of choices you can play for this event. So I'm gonna go over some of them right now, and one of them is just straight up Beetrooper. And Beetrooper obviously is a deck from the solo gate, so that's to be expected. Unfortunately, they hit my boy Dualogs, a Mother Spider. The OTK was just too much the last couple events, and they didn't want people to cheese with the Mother Spider Slitter OTK anymore, so rip. Actually, in order to replace it, I'm going to overcome my fears, and I'm putting in Scary Moth. Now, I had never ran this before because I was just too scared. This card is too terrifying. The thought of this showing up in my hand, I just couldn't handle it. I would scoop on the spot if I saw this. It's too scary. But I'm gonna overcome my fears, and I'm gonna play Scary Moth now. And what we're gonna do is it's gonna be really toxic. This is Beetrooper. There's two ways to play this. There's a couple ways you can go about your first turn end board. You can end on Giant Beetrooper Invincible Alice. Well, you're gonna end on this anyways, but you're gonna end on a Towers like Master of Invincible Alice with a counter trap, and you can either along the way you can search Max C, because for some reason this card is legal, and if you search Max C in Beetrooper, it's especially annoying because you would have a Monster Negate up, and you would have a Seraphim Pillion up, which can revive any insect monster at quick play speed. So that means if they chain Called By to your Max C, you can chain Papillion's Revival effect on the Max C to dodge Called By, and you have a Monster Negate for Ash. So you have a 100% chance of resolving Max C if you search it in this deck. It's very, very nice, I know. The second option is you summon. I can't even just look at this. It's the picture itself. This card showing up on my screen is too frightening. But you can only special summon once per turn. This is a Winda. You're a Winda. You can Winda your opponent in this game. So just imagine your opponent's trying to play some Crusaders, trying to play some Orcust, and they can only link summon once. Uh-oh. So yeah, this is a archetype full of insects that does quite a toxic turn one. And you're gonna be wondering why this is a 51 card deck. Well, okay, so Dragon. I'm getting ahead of myself. Beetrooper is basically Insect Link. It shares a lot of similarities with Dragon Link. There's no Striker Dragon, unfortunately. That would make the deck actually competitively viable in like a modern meta set thing. But you do have a Link 2 in Armor Horn, so you basically link off your monsters into increasingly bigger insects, and then every time you link off, you get more resources. Resistance Insect. It searches high-level insects, and it dumps Goki Pole to the grave, which Goki Pole gets you more insect searches, and Resistance Insect has no once per turn to be seen on the card, so you can literally use this card both effects 3 times a turn. So you get 3 adds and 3 Foolish Burials. It's that you actually can do that if your hand's good enough. And another thing about this deck is there's a lot of bricks in here. That's a main flaw of Beetroopers. This bottom row, like you see this entire row of insects right here. Every single one of these. Oh well, okay. I forgot. Color Soma's good. Soma's probably the best card in the deck, but it's a UR, and I know a lot of people probably don't. Even if you play Beetrooper, you might not have this card because it's 3 URs for a niche deck. But every other high-level insect monster is a brick. Okay, all of these you search during your combo. Okay, you don't want to see them in your hand before you combo, because then they don't contribute to anything. You want to search these at the end, especially Scary Moth. This is absolutely frightening to have in your hand. Terrifying. But yeah, this these are your normal summons. Battle, Sting the Poison, adds pin, special this, and then you just have extenders on extenders, and you have Scout Buggy, which just gets 2 insect monsters. The key is you gotta get 2 insect monsters on the field, and you wanna have some either 3 insect monsters or 2 insect monsters, or one of them being Resonance Insect or possibly Retaliating Sea with some hands. And that's why Crawler Soma is good, because Crawler Soma is the only even close to 1-card combo in the deck. Since this summons 2 Crawlers from your deck, so this gets you 3 instant monsters immediately. You just have to put a monster face down. So you can literally summon a hand trap, and then put it face down with Crawler somewhere, and then that's full combo from there. So, well, not full combo, but it's playable. This deck is if you're an experienced Beetrooper player, you know that this deck has several different lines based on what hands you have, and yeah, that's basically it. The extra deck, there's no access code, so a lot of this stuff doesn't really matter. This Ultimate Great Insect honestly does not matter. I don't think there's a good rank 9 available. Well, yeah, there's no... Whoa. Actually, I lied. This is legal. Okay, so you can play this. Actually, if you own Ultimate Great Insect, just cut, like, say, the roster Liger, and you can have Ultimate Great Insects plus Bear Grum. You can actually go into a Sacred High Tree Beast High Paraton for the negate. But again, this isn't gonna come up really often. It's like a very weird hand that you even go into Ultimate Great Insect. This is absolutely not necessary. And for those wondering, Beetrooper, the new Beetrooper fusion, is aka Saturn Ass. Unfortunately, the only way to make this is by playing Beetrooper Landing, and it's quite an awful fusion spell. Honestly, it's like a searchable poly, but it's like, I mean, it's not work, because you have to search this off Sting Lancer, and it's just not efficient to use that many bodies to go into Saturnus, which just makes up for the bodies that you used up in the fusion summon. Like, it's much better to just get an extender for free, or search the counter trap for a guaranteed interruption than. But yeah, the extra deck, the only things that matter again are the Invincible Atlas, the Cicada King, especially if you're doing the Scary Moth line, the Pico Falenas, the Armor Horns, and the Seraphim Papillions. Everything else is whatever. You probably don't even really need to go into them. And yeah. Alright, so this is just an example combo. This is one way you can approach the end board, and we're gonna go for a Scary Moth line. So we have Resonance Insect plus 1 extender, and our extender is pin the bullseye. So you can special pin. Make sure, most important part, burn for 200, minus 200. You never know when that 200, that 7800 life points comes up. I'm gonna link these two off into Armor Horn, and I'm gonna use Resonance Insect to add your Doom Dozer, and a special Doom Dozer, banishing Resonance and pin the bullseye, and Resonance Insect will dump a Golgi Pole. Golgi Pole's effect, we don't need to add a Miller, we're gonna add another copy of Resonance Insect. You can use Armor Horn's effect to normal summon the Resonance Insect again. Second copy. And guess what? You're gonna link these two off into again. And we go into the Pico Falena. You can discard a card. We're gonna discard Beargram because it can use its effect in the grave. Attach to Armor Horn. And use Resonance Insect effect. So we already have Max C in hand. If you didn't have Max C in hand, you could attach Retaliate. Well, okay, well, first of all, we're gonna add a copy of Heavy Beetrooper Mighty Neptune. That's important for the combo. And then Pico Falena, you can, if you don't have Max C, you can attach Retaliating Sea, and then when this goes to the grave, you will be able to search Max C. Since we already have it, let's add a third copy of Resonance, because why not? Just more value. And here, you could draw a card right now with Pico Falena actually, and put everything back. Besides the Resonance Insect, keep the Resonance Insect engraved. And then draw a card, Retaliating Sea. Okay, that's might be used with a hand trap. Link these two off into Invincible Atlas. This will trigger Resident Insect for a 3rd time. This is the 3rd time we search for Resident Insect this turn. By the way, just by the way. And you can add a Sting Lancer because, you know, it's another hand trap, it's another interruption. Since we have Insect in the grave, this is our Beetrooper Bistio is now up. And now use Armor Horn, banishing these 3 in grave, including 2 Resident Insects. I'm gonna use. You might as well use both Resident Insects, and you know exactly what one of the Resident Insects is dumping. So we're gonna dump a Scary Moth. That's absolutely terrifying for you and your opponent. And here, I will dump a Beetrooper Scout Buggy, and then use Invincible Atlas to tribute the Armor Horn, and we will summon our 2nd copy of Sting Lancer from that. And this Sting Lancer, since we do play formation, if you didn't play formation, you would just summon the Scout Buggy directly. That still works, but I would just add formation because, you know, why not get another free card? And then formation will revive the Scout Buggy we dumped, and then Scout Buggy effect will activate and summon another Scout Buggy, and these 2 will go into your Cicada King. Yeah, in attack mode. Yeah, attack mode Cicada King. Now you're gonna special summon Beetrooper, Mighty Neptune. You can put back all 3 Resident Insects. So do the same thing again next turn. And here in the end phase, this is what's gonna go down. You're gonna use the Mighty Neptune's effect, just on whatever, and you're gonna negate it with Cicada King. And you're gonna detach off Cicada King onto the Mighty Neptune. And now, when you're given this prompt, select the Cicada King and change battle position to defense. This will negate Mighty Neptune. Doesn't really matter. You just want to do that to change Cicada King to defense, and Cicada King can revive the Scary Moth. And now your opponent's windowed, and if they somehow get past the window, well, you also do have a Maxi in hand and a Sting Lancer in hand, and you have, you know, obviously this is follow up for next turn. This is kind of hard to out this board, honestly, because you have like a semi towers and obviously window, and you have a negate with Cicada King still, and Beetrooper formation. If any of your Beetrooper monsters dies, you get it replaced with another body too. Like, it's just really hard to out this. They need like a specific out this Scary Moth. They got this far, so yeah. So next up, we got a deck from the new pack, and you know, because it's from a new pack, they gotta keep it legal for the event, right? They gotta sell packs, give you a reason to pull for it, and obviously that's Gold Pride. And if you were pulling for Super Heavy Samurai from the new selection pack, and you just ended up with a bunch of Gold Pride stuff, even if you have no intention of playing Gold Pride in ranked, maybe think about holding on to it just for this event, because all the Gold Pride cards are legal. And obviously, if you're a pure Gold Pride player, you know, you're cooking, because your deck is completely legal for this event. Now, the Punk stuff is not legal. Xiamen is banned, so you can't really do Gold Pride Punk, so you kind of just have to do pure Gold Pride right now, which I'm not going to pretend I know exactly how this deck works, but I do know that Terratop is now at 3, and with Target on board, that is a rank 3 Xyz throughout your normal summon. And you know what else is a rank 3 Xyz? Gold Pride Chariot Carry. And you know what this card does? It adds any Gold Price spell from your deck to your hand, and you can add these. You can add your continuous Rhoda, or you can add Gold Pride The Crowd Goes Wild, just like an E-Telly. So yeah, and then you have a bunch of synchro plays. You can make rank 3 Xyz, or you can just like Cicada King and Brave Sword. You got a synchro toolbox of level 8 synchros and level 6 synchros and level 9 synchros. And Ruddy Rose, I don't know why this is here, to be honest. I'm not sure this is any good, but I own the Ruddy Rose, but I'm probably not gonna play this deck, so I don't even know why I put it there. And you have ballers, you have ballers. Just like from what I hear, you run 3 of every gold pride, except the Nitro Head, the level 8. And now Upstart, I think, at least for pure gold pride, I think Upstart is optimal because you get bonus effects if your life points are lower than your opponent's. And the easiest way to do that is literally just giving your opponent a 1k life points. So that way your opponent's always higher life points than yours, and you can get all your bonus effects of your gold pride monsters. So yeah, I mean, obviously if you just were pulling from the pack and you weren't planning on playing gold pride, you probably won't have Upstart, so you can replace these with just 3 random any hand traps or anything. Or if you own it, I have tour guides. If you're prepping for Unchained and you didn't dismantle your tour guides from the last time this was in a set, you can put in the tour guides over the Upstart goblins too. I know UR for UR, but this is probably more future proof, you know. If you plan on playing Unchained, that is. Now this is probably what people are going to be expecting to be the strongest deck of the format. Much like how it kind of was the strongest deck of the last Theme Chronicle, and it's the entire Danger Orcust lore. It's insane how Orcust, and then every archetype that also works with Orcust, in being the Dangers and the Nightmares, they all have a solo mode. So that means all of these are legal. But you know what doesn't have a solo mode, but is also legal, is scraps. And you have the Scrap Engine Scrap Recycler with Scrap Wyvern. This is absolutely insane. I missed this last time, but yeah, you don't need multiple gear suits because your best normal summon is Scrap Recycler now into the Scrap Wyvern play. One Scrap Recycler with Wyvern gets you your entire setup. You get to summon your gear, so you dump your harp, you get to use your harp, you get to use your Nightmare to send Road Wand, and you get the Symbol Silicon, and you can even make Lib because you have the World Wand engraved. So then you have this, and then you can use Lib to set World Legacy Succession as just a free extender, and you can link this off during your opponent's turn with IP. And when this card's link summoned with the IP, you get to spin another card. And IP, then you don't even have to commit to a Nightmare, you can commit to a Bomber Dragon, which Bomber Dragon can then continue to pop cards on your opponent's field. Not even counting the fact that you have a Babo up with a Dingirsu engrave. And oh yeah, if you draw multiple other extenders, or if you have to leave Armageddon Knight, or say a Dark Refer, you also have rank 4 plays with a double Book of Moon, Evil Swarm Nightmare. And yeah, funnily enough, the only hit I think this deck really had is Linkaribo. So without Linkaribo, it actually makes Girsu one of your worst stars, because now you can't just link off the token and do your plays, because you don't have a Dark Link monster to just with a Link 1 with a down pointing arrow that you can turn the token into. So that it actually makes Girsu not a 1-card combo, funnily enough, which is why another reason why Scrap Recycler is much better. Of course, you got the 9 Dangers, just for massive consistency. Just hope you don't get rolled. You know, that would kind of suck. And Spin Droplets, really good in Orcust deck. Just send your Orcust Bricky Orcust names in hand, send them to the grave, and that's, you negate your Mohon monsters, and you get full combo that way. And yeah, Scrap Raptor just gets you Scrap Recycler basically, so that's nice. And the extra deck, again, the stuff, the Orcust stuff and the Scrap Wyvern just that really matters. You know, the Thingirsus, the Galateas, the IP Masquerena, 1 Barricade board blocker, because again, these cards aren't that good in hand, so if you got them stuck in your hand, you can make this to discard and then combo that way. 1 long to go into with IP. You can go into this with IP, or you can summon it just raw, because You know, I'm not gonna lie, people haven't had to play around Orcust arrows, long Girsu arrows for a long time, so there's a high chance that people will just play into the long Girsu arrows, even though this might be the most common deck in the format. So yeah, this keep in mind for opportunities to just long your opponent when they're not expecting it. And anything else? Oh yeah, even Gizmek Orchid, for some reason this is still legal. So like now you just got extra search, like you got extra value dumps off like Nightmare and Orcust Crescendo, which now gets you just a free +1 extender. Like, man, this deck is crazy. Okay, so if you're from EU, avert your eyes. This is your worst nightmare. It's coming back in this event. Now, unfortunately, it's only pure Rikka. There's no Sun Avalon or just no Sunseed Genius Loci stuff because they banned Sunvide Sowing, or they banned the E-Tele that you search off Dryas. So there's not really much of a point to running the Sunseed Loci engine and all the stuff like that, or like the stuff like that. So it's not gonna get full comboed from one Loci, I don't believe. Although I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to the Rikka, so if there is a way to incorporate that, please let me know. And yeah, this is just pure Rikka. If you're a Rikka player, you probably own most of these cards already, or if you're like just like a Plant Link player, you know, play the original version with the Sunseed Loci, you probably still have most of these cards anyways. And you might just not have the 3 Strina, but I honestly I don't think you need 3 Strina. I don't think you need 2 Teardrop Rikka Queen either, since you can just replace any extra copies you have with Sacred Tree Beast Hyperiton, which is somehow legal this event, along with Aromacervi Jasmine and Sylvan Dancepiln. Are these like is Aromacervi and Sylvan also in the Rikka Solar Gate? Because yeah, I think the Sylvan stuff is, so that would make sense why these are legal. So the entire Rikka, you can still play the pure Rikka build with 3 Petal, 3 Princess, 2 Mudan, 3 Con is legal at 3, and you have 3 Rikka Glamour as well. This deck is like, it's honestly extremely. I'm scared of this myself. I'm not even from the EU, and like this is like making me shake in my boots. Also, this is a deck where Thrust is really good because not only can Thrust access engine such as your Glamour, or you can add Prosperity. This deck can play Prosperity pretty well. You can add 1-for-1, which 1-for-1 can get you your Rikka Petal. I think that's a decent enough play. You also have 3 Lone Fire. And they can get you a board breaker such as Evenly Matched. Maybe it's worth running a Duster. Oh wait, I already had ran the Duster, yeah, so it can get you a board breaker, obviously like it can in every deck, but if you're going first, Thrust also gets you engine. You can add a Rikka Sheet. Just, you know, just as a interruption. It's for free if you don't have a play line that acts as a Rikka Sheet. So yeah, it can get a useful spell and useful in-engine trap. So that makes Thrust a really good card in this deck. Can't believe Thrust is at 3 this event. What the hell is this event ban list? Like a lot of archetypes are banned, but every single generic card is fucking legal. Like the Maxi is like one thing, but then you have all of this stuff. Like, damn, this ain't nothing like the last Theme Chronicle. This event's actually, the power level is crazy. Now, I don't really know the Rikka combos myself, so I can't help you there, but I'm pretty sure that if you want to play and learn, you can. I'm pretty sure these ratios should be close to correct, right? So like 3 Lone Fire, 3 Petal, 3 Princess, 1 Primula, 2 Mudan, 1 Snowdrop, and then the extra you just need a couple Strena, at least 1 Teardrop, and like maybe the rest fill up like a couple more Hyperitons since you have to you're not really on the Sunmine stuff. Probably at least 1 Seraphim Jaspi and 1 Sylvan Dancepiln, and Kanzashi is a rare, so you can like the Rikka Sanavalon build doesn't have room for this, but pure Rikka has, so you can make this, and then this can also be tributed. Aurea level 7. or rank 7. You can run the Dryas into like so you can summon a Gardener. I'm not sure how useful this is because they also banned I forgot to mention. Yeah, so Sun Avalon. They banned Sun Avalon Thrasher, and they banned so you only really got Gardener and Healer. I don't think these two, just having these two Sunvine Link monsters with Dryas really accomplishes too much for you. So yeah, another reason why you're not running the vanilla engine with the like the Sun Sea Twin and that stuff. Don't probably have to worry about that. Okay, so apparently I found out that Prank Kids is completely unhit for this event. What I don't remember playing a solo mode with Prank Kids in it. Maybe I missed one or something. Oh, what the hell? I don't. Yeah, so yeah, if you own Prank Kids, you have Prank Kids. You can make Raigeki and target Veloster on your opponent's turn during an event. Seems interesting. Yeah, meow meow, moo, yif, whatever it's called. It's still a 1 because of the actual ban list. But I mean, this deck is pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just the fact that this deck can just make Battle Butler and pop your opponent's whole board during their turn. It's like it's kind of rude, honestly. I was not expecting this to be legal, to be perfectly honest. Now, probably you're gonna have to play this pure. I don't think the other variants works because if you look at the sprite cards, yeah, no sprite monsters legal. So Prank Kids Sprite or Spranks, as the kids call it these days, is not very viable. And the Adventure Engine, you can use the Adventure Engine, you can use it to chain block, but you know, you got no Griffin Rider, you don't even have a Legal Knight, so you're just ending with like a body on board to chain block, and at that point you can just run more Prank Kids plays to help chain block if you desperately want. And yeah, so because you're playing pure, you're playing triple Pandemonium and then triple Poly just to extend so that you don't the weakness of this deck when played pure is that it loses to 1 Ash Blossom if you don't have the Prank Kids plays up at the chain block. So yeah, also this is a deck with a lot of room for hand traps. See, on top of Maxi, Ash Blossom, Imminent Permanence, the Called By, and the Crossbow Designator, you'd have room for like 3 more hand traps in like 2 DD Crow, since this may be an Orcust or a Rikka format, so Crow is gonna be decent, and then you know just 1 Nibiru as the anti-die and as like a designated target, and you can still run, and that's with running 3 of each kids for consistency, plus the Pandemonium again for consistency, and 1 Pranks as a search, 2 plays, and a Prank Kids plan. Maybe not necessary, you could potentially just cut this and put in a 3rd place just for maximum consistency. And like the extra deck, you can run like 2 of each of the level 5 fusion, Weather Washer and Rocket Ride, and then you just need 1 Battle Butler and 1 Rip Roaring. You might not even, honest, you can argue you don't even need the Rip Roaring since you don't go into this too often. But yeah, you can make Dweller with rank 4s, and Dweller is good in an event or format where Orcust is legal and possibly the best deck. This, you know, Dweller goes pretty hard. Then 3 Rooster, 2 Dog, Bow Wow, Bark. Then you can have like utility slots like Phoenix and Nightmare as well. And yeah, this is, I mean, this is pretty damn good. This is a deck that looks like you could take it into, that's playable in ranked. Then you literally just move that deck and transport it into an event. Yeah, seems pretty crazy. So yeah, there's a look at what I believe are 5 of the best decks for this event. And honestly, that's just scratching the surface. There might even be more decks that I haven't looked into that like might be even better. I know I saw that the Fur Hire stuff was mostly legal, and I know what you're thinking, Fur Hire? Come on, but I mean, if you've never drawn 3 off of Daddy Fogel, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Also, you compare it with the Melfi stuff. The Melfi stuff engine is legal with the Caddy, Penny, and then you can quick synchro into a Herald or a Joyous Melfi's to bounce on your opponent's turn. It's pretty nice. And then I believe Plunder Patrol is mostly legal too. So yeah, if you want to grab that booty, you know, just play some Plunder Patrol. There's also I think Dinos, they don't have UCT or anything, but Ovi Rapper is still legal and Mist is still at 3. I don't need to ask you to read that card, but yeah, and also the new Ultra Rare from the pack round Xeno can add Scrap Dino directly, and you know, yeah, Scrap Dino is also legal. Like there's just a lot of crazy decks here. Like let me know if like there's a deck that I didn't mention that it's also seems pretty good for this event. And again, these decks are, while they're good, they may not necessarily be the cheapest. So if you're looking for more budget options, you don't have to go through these loaners. I have another video that covers 3 of the best budget options for this event as well over here.